Welcome to GNT, your one-stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
Today we're going to start with Jurassic World is a game I think it was just announced at Gamescom. It's coming in 2018, where you can build and control your own park, which I'll check out. I'm not sure if I would get it or not, but I think it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it depends on what price point it comes out at.
Yeah.
$20, then yeah, I could see it being a possibility. I watched that video too. It looked promising, interesting, because there are definitely things that I would do and not do, and
Yeah.
So it's an interesting perspective, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I think the security aspect would be cool, keeping in the dinosaurs
and reacting to breakouts and having how you have placements made and stuff, and
yeah, it'd be really cool.
So.
A new mode for Battlefield 1 called Incursions is coming out that's aimed at esports. It's a 5-on-5. If you get a kill, capture a point, or kill a tank, you get 1 point. And the first team to 10 points wins a set. And then there are 10 sets. So kind of a similar layout to like a Counter-Strike, like you have multiple matches and you have to win the majority. So seeing more modes coming out in games aimed at esports, which I kind of like, because I like the idea of esports. I like to see them keep getting bigger.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, I think so.
Seeing that, and I mean, especially whenever you have games that whenever they come out, like Overwatch. I mean, it came out, and I mean, its acceptance was so overwhelming that and it's kind of funny because it's like Blizzard. Blizzard's never made I don't know if they've made a first-person shooter prior to this. They might have. Not one comes to memory, but it's one of those things where then you have this, and it's like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. This is the natural progression of games, first person shooters, which I'll touch more on that natural progression of things later on in another subject. But yeah, that sounds cool. I mean,
yeah, it does. Speaking of Blizzard, I didn't put this down, but I was watching today. They had an orchestra playing at Gamescom, and they did different tracks from Blizzard games, like the Wrath of the Lich King theme music, and it was really cool. They had the orchestra playing, and then behind they had scenes from like cinematics and different art from the game, and I just thought it was awesome.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. They did Legion, which they showed the cinematic for Legion. That was good too. But PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds Invitational is currently in motion at Gamescom. I think it was yesterday and today, and then tomorrow and Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time each day. And today I watched, and there are 3 modes, solo, duo, and then squads. And I watched today, and they did the duo matches. I know we talked about last week, this being esport and doing competitions, and it was actually really cool to watch.
Oh, I mean, we said about the possibilities, and just the 3 modes, the solo, the duo, and the team. I mean, just so many tactics. And obviously solo, you're doing stuff, but like the duo, I mean, just so many possibilities. Do you set traps? Do you kind of flank people, or what kind of, or you do, front back, kind of like the back-to-back stat, there's so many possibilities. And then the team, obviously the team, I don't know what the team sizes are, but
they might be 5. I'm not positive on that.
I mean, still, the possibilities. I mean, you go in there, you think about it, you can do a lot with 5 people.
Oh, yeah.
And you think about it, you go in there with like 10 people. 10 on 10 on 10, 10 versus 9 other teams. I mean,
that'd be crazy.
Oh, man. I mean, the possibilities are just, oh, hey, where are you at? Okay, I got this. Yeah, I mean, just, the elaborate traps and whatnot that you could set up. I mean, just awesome.
Yeah, you could all drop into one town and, like, just take over that town, or you could split up and however you want to do it.
Well, doesn't the premise of it having the area shrink down?
Yeah.
So
eventually you'd have to move.
You might be able to set up a few traps, but just really, really cool. Not a game that I don't know if I could play it, but I don't know if I enjoy it as much as watching it. It's just one of those games where it's enjoyable to watch just because of the scale and what's going on and stuff. So That's really awesome.
Yeah, and at the start, you drop out of the plane, so it was cool. Right off the bat, you have different strategies. Like there were a few duos that went after like the military base, and they were focused on that for a little bit. Them battle it out there and try to get stuff there. Other teams went other places, and then it starts off a little slow, but then at the end, when the circle gets real small, it's just crazy. I mean, everybody's in this tight spot, just taking each other out. And like you said, it was cool. Right at the end, there was one person in this building and two people on this field. And they were behind a rock. And the one guy popped smoke, threw the smoke up in front of the house, and then he laid down cover fire. The other guy took off towards this tree, and just how they tried to work in on the house and take the guy out. And they did, and eventually won, but it was good.
Oh, so they were able to take the house.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Survive the Storm mode is coming to Fortnite on August 29th. And I think this is like the Horde mode that we've been talking about, or like I said last week that I wanted to come out. And
yeah, it's kind of because a fortnight is, I think, 14 nights or 13 nights. I know it's in this mode, the Survive the Storm mode, I had heard was going to be lasting that many night cycles.
Okay.
Whatever a fortnight is.
Yeah.
That's how long the Survive the Storm mode will last. And basically what it is you gather and build during the day and you battle at night. So
see, I like that. I think that'll
the premise of it. But
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's been hard for me to kind of get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was making progress. I had bought, the last time I played it, I bought llamas. I got it was those legendary troll llamas, so I did get good gear out of it. I got golds. So I do have good gear, or the possibility of good gear. It's just the time to develop everything. And I understand this is going to be a free-to-play game, so currently you're, if you don't pay, which, I mean, I did pay, and still not, yeah, I did get these better weapons, but I'm no further ahead than I really was before because I don't have the other materials to upgrade them. So they have to iron out some more bugs as far as progression because it's really trudging at this point.
Yeah.
And with other free-to-play games really moving forward, particularly what comes to mind is Warframe, which I had played it before, but it's coming out with some new content and, right now, I guess it's really good. It's in a really good state, and I've almost been going to download it, but once again, we go back to the too many good games, too little time.
Yep.
Now, beyond Fortnite, the only other game I'm playing is The Division, which we'll go into that later. So, but right now, I just can't. I mean, it's kind of silly. I should just download Warframe, and if I feel like it, get on it. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So
yeah, Microsoft says the response to the Xbox One X is overwhelming, and that they will make as many consoles as they can going forward. So they will make sure they can get anyone who wants a console get them one, which I think is a good idea. But the Scorpio Edition pre-orders did sell out very quickly. Now I don't know how many of those were available from the start, but
I'd be interested to hear the number.
Yeah,
I would be. If you wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have been able to get one. So.
No, yeah, that day, because the show was, or their conference was at 3, and I started work at 2. I was like, oh, great, they're probably going to put it on, then I won't be able to get it. So during work after 3, I just pulled my phone, refresh Amazon, it said not available yet. And I just kept checking, and we went on our first break at like 4:15, and that was right when the end of the show, so it was perfect. I went out to my break, went on, pre-ordered it, and texted you guys, and
I appreciate it because I was down helping my brother out at Tynesta getting they were canoeing or kayaking, and so I had to run him to get his vehicle, and you texted me, and I looked and I had 4G, and I'm like, so they hadn't showed up yet. So I was able to get on Amazon. I'm like, okay, add to cart, and it was a little slow, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm like, I know I know the people are there. I know that's why that app, because I've ordered shit before and it just goes like that. So I know that it's like cranking at the gears, and I'm thinking, oh, come on. And I got it and I pre-order it. Then Mike texts and says, oh yeah, I got the Scorpio edition. I'm like, shit, I want the Scorpio edition. I go back and I'm like, where was I at? And I'm like, oh, okay, I did get the Scorpio edition. I'm like, all right, cool. So it did work out, but
Yep.
I was a little worried there for a little bit.
No, I'm excited for it. And like, you see the box is like the original Xbox that comes in.
Yeah,
and
I was
cool.
watching some video from people that were at Gamescom, saying that they went and they were looking at the games that were upscaled.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War 4, Titanfall 2, Quantum Break, Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah.
I forget. There might have been one more. I forget. But they said that they are really impressive, and that they what eased their doubts, or what doubts they had about it is that console was there, the consumer version.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a dev kit or anything. It was hooked up. They could feel the heat coming off of it. They knew it was running off of it, because I guess at E3 they had demo units that looked like you were playing on them, but you really weren't. They didn't have wires hooked up to them. There was no warm air coming out of them. So, I guess people's fear were that it wasn't the actual console doing the work or actually giving you these results. But that being said, they said that Gears of War 4 looked like it was running on PC at the highest settings. Now, It was only running at 30 frames per second, but to me, that whole frames per second it isn't an important influence on me. And at any point, I haven't said, oh boy, I wish I could play that at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
I know that is a big deal to some players, but not for me. So the fact that, I can have those really crisp graphics and smooth, 30's pretty much the standard. A lot of games run at 30. I've never had an issue, So for that fact that I'm excited that it's going to look good,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I could get it at 60, sure, I'd take it. But like you said, I've never been playing a game like, man, I can tell this is at 30 frames per second. Like, I don't know. I'm
excited just to get some backwards capability.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the games I still play that are older, that look good on the PC, I'm really excited for them to crank the shit up and have them, look really good. Because even I'm going to talk about this a lot today, but The Division, I was playing it and I'm like, that game is, it's on its second year now of being out. Roughly like a year and a half old. I guess it came out in March, and so it's a year and 5 months old. So at any rate, still looks good. I mean, it's still compared to Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now I know that's apples and oranges, but Ghost Recon doesn't have the crispness that the Division does for me, and it's just one of those things that keeps sucking me back in.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it a lot, and I'll talk about that later. But and then this is what I was saying earlier about this is the way things are going to be going now. We go from having new consoles to refresh during the console generation. It used to be we had the slim versions, but they really weren't bringing a huge performance increase.
No.
Not like your PlayStation Pro and now your Xbox One X are doing. So, so essentially, I mean, we're getting excited for a new console. Essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an Xbox One, but it's gonna be Xbox One with better graphics. So now we're kind of blurring the lines of consoles and PCs. It's just but at the end of the day, the consoles are getting to the point where they're able to, get pretty close to the same performance as a PC and are more affordable and, in my mind, more streamlined. I guess, there are people that, prefer the mouse and keyboard whenever they're playing their games and stuff. I prefer a controller, depending on the game.
Yeah.
But for the most part, but like I said, that's just a preference. And the same thing can be said about going console over PC. I mean, if you buy a decent PC, it'll last you a good many years. And, but, it's just exciting times, to get excited for the Xbox One X.
Yeah, and I mean, really, what's the difference between this and a new gen, like next gen? Like if they would have called this the Xbox 2 and then made it a new gen, same console. I mean, would people be more excited? I mean, I don't know, but
I mean, and essentially they could have done that too.
Yeah.
They could have very easily done that, but I think what they want to say is that the refresh cycle, the big picture cycle, is like 8 years roughly, or whatever what used to be, or whatever. But I don't care. I almost welcome these mini refreshes. If at the end of the day it's going to deliver me better performance, better graphics, that's really, I mean, a better experience. I mean, that's what it's bringing to the table. And the fact that you can go backwards and say, okay, you have this game you really like, and we're going to make it better graphically, I like that too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see, I mean, I like Titanfall, and I was kind of excited to hear them say about how it improved the graphics on it, because I already thought it was a rock-solid game. So,
yeah, I might have to get it.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm excited. I'm looking forward to going back and playing Titanfall, So,
yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Oh, and before with consoles, it was like, okay, they came out with the Xbox 360. Now, if you want to play console games with friends, or you have to get the Xbox 360, then the Xbox One. Where now it's like they came with the One S, and it's like, but you don't really have to get it. I mean, you can still play the same games.
Well, you were in that boat, and for me, I got my 4K TV, so it made sense at that time to buy the S, because then I got to take advantage of the 4K player.
Yeah.
Was it a necessity? No. But, I have no regrets. The console, I like the design of the console. It was really, I mean, really, it's probably, I would say probably the most attractive console I've ever had. I would say I like the design of the S that much. And then now the fact that you got the X coming out, now I will say that I was like, ooh, what's the Scorpio edition? But then once I found it out, and then found out it's got that little bit of a design scheme, or different design scheme, I was kind of like, do I want that? Do I? But
yeah,
it's one of those things where, yeah, I'll get it. I mean, it's kind of like I had the Day One edition.
Oh yeah.
Xbox One. The only really difference is it said Day One on the remote. It didn't even say Day One on the console. So
yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for that. Like, I like the Scorpio and the controller. I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. But
yeah, I mean, it's the design isn't overbearing.
No.
Or gawky. I mean, it's not like those Project Scorpios real huge on it. It's actually pretty low key of all things. My biggest thing was the screen printing on it. I wasn't sure how sold I was on it, but I'd rather have it Day One, special edition, I guess, like you, than having just the plain black one. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I might have to buy two.
Yep, you might. GTA Online has Smuggler's Run update coming next week. It adds new customizable aircraft and hangars, and the hangars will have smuggling missions like they did with the biker gang and the bunkers
and everything else that they've done.
And they're adding transform races where guess you're racing in like a car, and then you reach a certain point and it transforms into a boat. And you take off in the water, or you can go into a plane and fly, which sounds pretty wild. I'll probably have to try that out. But
I mean, kudos to Rockstar. I mean, if there's one thing we've talked about probably the most on our show, it's been Grand Theft Auto. And
not even being paid to do it. We're just doing it for.
And at the end of the day, it's never been bad.
No.
Never been bad.
No.
I mean, other than the rocky start, which they were hell-bent on getting fixed, and they got fixed, to GTA Online, like I said, if more people don't take pages out of Rockstar's book on that one, I don't know. You're not going to develop a following like that or a loyal fan base, and you can truly tell that they are they're in it for the money, but at the end of the day, they are giving Joe Consumer the best bang for their buck that you could ask for. I mean, you're not gonna find beyond an MMO. You're not gonna find a game that has that much support and that much free credit or free content. I'm sorry, consistently. It's unheard of, at least in my book. I mean, it's possible that it's out there, but not to that scale. I mean, from the very start, Grand Theft Auto had a lot of hype behind it. 5, and then to where it is now, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, the jump. I think I've said this before, but I think the jump from 4 to 5, like, there have always been improvements to the game, but this game seems so much bigger than the rest. I mean, just because they keep adding to it. I mean, probably the jump from day one when it came out to now is big, but
they keep it fresh.
Yeah.
They keep introducing not only new stuff to do that progresses your character, kind of almost in a story mission. I guess they are story missions, but the multiplayer aspect of it. I mean, I love that top-down game mode that we were playing on. I mean, that is kick-ass.
Yeah.
And to think, okay, let's take a game where we've built an impressive 3D world and everything and just limit it to a top-down only view. I mean, genius.
Genius.
I mean, really. I mean, that brings me back. I had days of playing that Micro Machines game that was the exact same thing, and it's like, but if you think about it, that's how Grand Theft Auto 2 was, and Grand Theft Auto 1, they were top-down views like that. So it's kind of paying homage to themselves, too.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, you can't go wrong there.
No. And if you want to, I remember back when Destiny comes out, there were talks of this world and being like a 10-year game or whatever. This is how you do it. I mean, how long has this game been going on? Still fresh.
And they haven't had to reinvent or add new currencies or do any of that shit.
No.
You know what I mean? The balance doesn't need adjusted like it did in Destiny, and it doesn't need retooled. Now, we're not necessarily comparing apples to apples with this, but
right, yeah.
I mean, did they think that long term that they'd be still supporting this game this far down the road? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the way they've handled it has been excellent. I mean, just excellent. And really, I mean, if you think about it, like they said in Destiny, your character is going to carry through to the. That's not the case. Your character doesn't carry through, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And that stuff that you build up, you don't get to take with you. Now, the same's probably going to be the same whenever Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. You're not going to be able to take your online character over to 6 with the same houses and cars and whatever. But you know what? You get to build it again, and then it won't be just enjoyable as you did the first time, you know?
Yep.
So, it's just really cool.
Now, whenever Wonder Woman came out, we talked about the women-only viewing that they showed in some of the theaters. Now, someone made a comment to, was it AMC Theaters, I think that was. They said, will there be a clown-only viewing for it, making a joke about that. and now there will be a clown-only viewing for it in Austin, Texas. You have to dress up in full clown garb to go see the movie. Now I think that's scarier than the actual movie itself.
Oh, yeah.
To just go sit in that theater with.
Well, yeah. The only comfort you could take is that you blend in.
Yeah,
you're in camouflage if you're in clown garb.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, where does it end? Hopefully there. Hopefully with a theater full of clowns.
Yeah.
And not just in costume either. It'll be a theater full of clowns. So.
There are talks again between Microsoft and Sony about enabling crossplay. We've talked about it before with Rocket League, which I don't think led anywhere. Now they're talking about it for Minecraft. You can play Minecraft together on, I think, pretty much any platform except PlayStation. So I guess they're trying to get Sony to buy in on that.
Well, what's funny is I read an article about that today too. And it's essentially game developers, Ark. There's a game called Ark Survival.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd seen one of my friends on my friends list has played it. Well, it was in beta, and it's finally coming out for an official release coming up. And it was one of the games that promised cross-console gaming.
Huh?
It's Sony that's putting the kibosh to it. Sony won't allow it. And and they said that there was one spokesman from Sony saying something about, well, the reason we haven't opened ourselves up to cross gaming or cross platform gaming is because we want to protect the players that are playing from, we don't know what kind of people they'll be connected with.
Wow. Jeez.
I mean, have you ever played on
Holy
any
cow.
online network? You're gonna find volatile people. So thinking that they're sheltering their players from other volatile players because only righteous players play on PlayStation. I mean, that's a joke.
Jeez. We don't want our people playing with those Xbox.
Yeah, and it's kind of a cock block. And I think if I was a PlayStation fanboy, I'd be kind of pissed because who doesn't want to have a bigger player pool to play with? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there are people that only have one console, okay? So let's go to a game let's say you like an older game, okay? You could essentially go from having a hard time finding multiplayer matches and shit being on your console, but if you open up and you connect to both consoles or connect to both consoles and PC, then your player pool is essentially doubled or tripled.
Yeah.
And then the game becomes still relevant and still, readily playable for you, and you don't lose that desire to play it because you can't. Like you said, you bought Friday the 13th, and you said the hardest thing about it was getting into matches because it seemed kind of like the player base had killed off. But no pun intended. But if you go back to that, and you could have been drawing from PC and PlayStation. That's a whole different game.
Yeah.
That's a whole different scenario.
That'd be awesome.
And I just don't understand why PlayStation would, at the end of the day, want to say, well, no, we don't want you to have fun. We don't want you to be able to play those. Buy the new games. New games have lots of players. And there are players. They're good people. That's just it's asinine.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of those things where it's kind of why I don't play my PlayStation that much. It's just kind of that kind of mentality and stuff,
Yeah. No, I can't believe that wasn't a bigger story. Well, we have both Xbox and PlayStation, but I play mostly Xbox. And if Microsoft were to say no, we don't want our people playing with it, I'd be like, what the heck? Like, I want to play with you.
It would definitely. And here's the thing, whenever you have one side saying, hey, we're open for it, and you have game developers saying it's possible, here we go, here's my game. It's ready to do that.
Yeah.
And then you have people saying, well, I don't want to do that. It's kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell,
No, and that was the case with Rocket League, because I remember the PUBG Rocket League said, we have it built in, we're ready, we just need the word to flip the switch and everybody can play. And somebody's like, no, we don't want to do that.
And so. I just, that's just silly.
Yeah.
What are they afraid of? Losing people?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
really don't know.
It's a bummer.
I don't know how it would hurt them.
It wouldn't. It benefit. It's a benefit. Yeah. Who doesn't want to be able to have more people playing games. I mean, if I was a game developer, I would say, all right, I'm not going to go to PlayStation because I know I'm landlocked to them. But I know if I go to Xbox, that they'll be able to play with PC players, and that'll prolong my game's life.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I mean, how is that not? How can you not look at it like that? And at the end of the day, isn't that what you want? Is you want player or gamers playing your game? So at the end of the day, isn't that wouldn't you want that no matter what?
I would think.
You know, and why would you not want? I mean, if you could like I said, and if you make it easier for people to connect to other people and still be able to play these older games, that's more time they're going to spend on your console.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, you've already essentially won the console war, Sony. What's your fear? What's your fear at this point? You've already sold, a shit ton of PlayStation units. It's popular. We get it. Be the better company. Be the bigger company. You're already in the lead. Let people play together. It's just it doesn't make sense.
There you have it. I watched The Defenders that came out last Friday, and I watched the whole thing in a couple of days. That is a good. I think this is the best Marvel show yet.
You watched The Defenders over catching up on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, and I'm glad I did. It's a really good show.
Wow, it's not as good as Game of Thrones. I can guarantee you that.
To you, but it's good.
Everyone. I don't know.
No, it's cool. I mean, it takes a couple episodes to get everybody together, and but you get to see some good fights. The one fight I was hoping to see was Daredevil against Iron Fist, because they're both kind of martial artists, and I always thought that Daredevil would be the better fighter, but you get an answer to it. I won't spoil anything, but
you kind of did spoil.
Did
it. I think I know the answer, but I'm not going to go into that.
Well, and there's a fight towards the end of the show that rivals some of the fights in the movies. Like the fight was just unreal. I don't know, just good job to everyone involved with that show, because keep it up like that, and I'll keep watching these shows. Because I was a little worried I like Daredevil. Jessica Jones was pretty good. I didn't finish it, but the other two, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, weren't that great to me. So I was kind of worried with this show, but I think together they have enough material there that it keeps you interested, and a lot of good fights and stuff. So
now, if you don't watch, like if I was to go home and watch The Defenders, would I know what's going on? Would I be able to follow? Would it be relevant? Is there anything that I'm going to be lost on?
There might be a couple.
Does it stand alone?
There might be a couple little references that you don't get.
Like I wouldn't pick up on, but I'd still be able to. The content itself would be relevant.
Because the nice thing about it is, they'll bring in a character, like maybe a character that's in Daredevil, but the other characters don't know who they are, so they'll explain real quick. Oh, I know this person from this. So even if you haven't watched it, it goes over it in the. Because, like I said, they don't know each other, so they don't know what's been going on. So.
I might watch it. I don't know.
I would give it a shot.
I mean, I do. I could possibly watch it. I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, I've been trying to catch up on Game of Thrones. I bought all the seasons. The show has yet to cease to amaze me as far as progressing, as far as content, production value. You just don't. I don't. I watched a lot of different series and stuff, and to me, this is just like watching a movie every time. Well written, the special effects are good. I can't get over it. It's so good. Although I did take a break from it last weekend, I watched the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty. Oh my goodness. Oh, just a great show. I was laughing my ass off. I mean, so funny. And being uncensored, oh, I mean, just over the top. I mean...
Yeah, I definitely need to watch that.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch season. It's just, if you enjoyed, we watched a couple episodes in season 3 and thought they were hilarious. And if you enjoy one episode, you'll enjoy them all. And just funny, just real funny stuff, lighthearted. I mean, we watched, Marvel's The Defenders seems more of a serious tone than kind of like your other Marvel movies that kind of have a humor back tone to it. This is more of like kick ass and take names kind of series. This is just more lighthearted fun and a lot of references that people get, if they watch sci-fi shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just a really good show.
Yeah. Going back to Game of Thrones real quick, like you said, the production value, I agree, is probably the best I've ever seen for any TV show. There's just something, for me personally, there's just something missing from it to really get me in. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's that there's not really a character that I can really get behind. Like, if I look at Tyrion's probably my favorite at this point. I mean, I haven't started season 5 yet. But if they killed him in the first episode of season 5, I'd be like, okay, and move on.
Well, you can't. I
guess I'm just not invested in that.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. And I'm not going to deny that it's maybe the most popular show up there, and that there's a lot of people that love it. But just for me, there's just something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the thing is they're not afraid to throw the money at it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not to get the results they want. So.
Yeah, that's huge.
So.
Oh, and talking about money, we kind of.
Oh yeah, we did. We didn't discuss this last week, but there's a lawsuit that's going on now with The Walking Dead, and it's for I think it's for $1 billion. I think that's what the end dollar amount is. That it's and
I think so.
And at the end of the day, that's not good.
No,
that's not good for anybody.
No, I mean, there are people that, I think I saw one guy saying, this won't affect the quality of the show or the show. But I'm like, it can't help it. I mean,
there's animosity. You don't start a lawsuit between two parties and you're still working on the show and not have any animosity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to happen. So,
from what I understand, I think there's AMC and then there's a studio that makes The Walking Dead. And I think what they were doing was taking from the profit of each episode, taking a percentage, saying, well, we have to pay the studio, but the studio's AMC, so they're basically paying themselves and taking more money away from like Kirkman and the other people that get a percentage of the profits. So I guess that's what they're saying that AMC is doing and why they're suing them. But
yeah, that's not good. So.
No, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with it. It'd be kind of nice if someone like HBO would be like, okay, we're going to take care of The Walking Dead now.
Let Game of Thrones, or let HBO concentrate on Game of Thrones, and The Walking Dead can happen to what happened. It's sad. I used to be a hardcore Walking Dead person, and
I'd still say I am. I hope.
Well, season 7 really just took the wind out of my sails. And then whenever you start watching a show like Game of Thrones, where it's it's kind of like they've essentially on The Walking Dead, whenever it's somebody's time, they're dead, they go out in a blazing glory, and that's it. On The Walking Dead, there's kind of that they explore more of that gray area, or they deal a lot more in that gray area where you think something happened and you might not find out right away, but then something else happens, or yeah, they do kill off a character, and that's it. It's over. You know what I mean? So I kind of like how they've handled it from day one, more so than because the only really gray death that we weren't sure of definitively was Glenn.
Yeah,
we all feared that he was dead, and then then he died in the manner he did, which was happened in the comic book, but still, I don't know. If you'd have seen Abraham get beat to death, you'd think, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Well, I guess it wasn't his fault anyways. It was Daryl's, but I don't know. I mean, that episode was, and it's not like I haven't seen people get killed before on a TV show, but something just that episode struck a chord. So I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm hoping for season 8. I hope they turn it up a notch and get back to. I was thinking about it. I thought seasons 3 and 4 of that show to me were unbelievable. Like some of the best TV I've ever seen. Yeah, and then I think like season 6, 7, like So I'm hoping I don't know what it was about 3 and 4. I think maybe it was a smaller world that I liked. Like it was just them. I mean, they brought in Woodbury, but still, like the main group was the focus, and I don't know, maybe it's getting bigger, and I don't know.
I don't. No, I just think that now it's not. I think there's underlying issues. I don't think it's the fact that they've brought in more people because I don't want to do it, but I'm going to. I'm going to compare it to Game of Thrones. I mean, you look at Game of Thrones, and they've got a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they can keep the shit relevant and shit straight and keep, okay, you'll see some of this on, you'll kind of touch on almost all these parties in one episode, and then maybe the next episode you don't see them. So you kind of like, oh, what's going on with these people? And it's not like a complete cock block because it's going on across the world where this is more condensed. So you should kind of be able to tell what's going on, not with everybody, but for the general consensus, there should be, you don't have these character-centric episodes. You just don't have that because essentially, I don't know, but whatever.
Yep. So that's pretty much it for this week. Thanks for watching, listening. Check out SoundCloud if you want to listen to it on the go. Our YouTube channel where you can watch videos and other stuff. No B&M experiment this week or last week. Maybe next week we'll get them back on hopefully. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.